to day 23 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 23 already. We are kicking off our 4th full week of the challenge. We're in the back half. You guys are doing amazing. So thank you to everyone who has been doing the challenge with me this year. We are owning it. Let's keep going. Of course, you do not have to do the challenge. If you want to just do this workout with me today, that's great. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you are curious about the challenge and this is the first you're hearing about it, let me just take a few minutes before we begin to explain a little bit about what the challenge is, how it works, why we're doing it, how to participate, and where to begin. So first and foremost, there is a playlist that contains all of the workouts for this challenge in chronological order. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked at the very end of this video as well, so you cannot miss it. The very first thing I want you to do is click on that link and then save the playlist. Then the second thing you're going to do is watch the day 1 video. If you watch that video that I shared on day 1 of the challenge, that is going to contain all of the information you need to know as far as what this challenge is. As I mentioned, it is 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days, but that's really just one part of it. There's a kind of mental health component to it as well. So you'll learn a little bit more about that, and you will also see the proper form for how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. So if you are a beginner and you're not quite sure how to do those exercises, maybe you've never done a workout before in your entire life, you're in the right place, okay? You can do squats, you can do lunges, you can do abs, you can do push-ups, and you can do this challenge. So watch that video from day 1. You're going to see how to do all of the exercises with the correct form. I also took a ton of time demonstrating and explaining lots of different beginner modifications that I promise you anyone can do. So watch that day 1 video so that you understand what the challenge is exactly, and you know where to start, how you can participate. Because let me tell you that I have a few people who are participating in the challenge, but they're not doing 40 reps of everything every day. They're doing 20 reps, or they're doing 15 reps. So if you can't commit to doing 160 reps every single day, and you can't commit to working out 6 days a week, and you can't commit to doing this for 40 days straight, just participate to whatever extent you are able to participate. If you make the decision to do the challenge, then it's your challenge, okay? I'm sharing my challenge with you. You are, of course, invited to do the challenge exactly the way I'm doing it. I'm sharing a brand new workout every day. I'm working my way through the playlist in order, and you can do that if you want. That's great. But if what I'm doing doesn't work for you, then you do your challenge your way. So that might mean several things. That might mean that you commit to doing 3 days a week instead of 6. And that's fine. If you, whatever you can commit to, as long as you follow through with it, that's amazing. It may mean that you're committing to doing the final 20 days of the challenge, or just the first 20 days of the challenge. And again, that's great. I would love if you did just the first 20 days or the final 20 days of the challenge. Doing 20 days of the challenge is so much better than doing no days of the challenge. So commit to doing what you can. And again, if you can't commit to doing 40 squats every day, can you commit to doing 20 squats, 20 lunges, 20 reps of an ab exercise, and 20 push-ups a day every day? Or maybe even 15 reps or 10 reps of everything? So you make the decision that is best for you. You decide how the challenge can work for you, and then you make the commitment that you're going to do this challenge. Do it your way, but get it done. And as soon as you make that commitment, I promise following through is going to be so much easier than you think it's going to be. Just don't give yourself an out. Be honest with yourself about what you can do. Be honest with yourself about what level you're going to be able to participate. And then say the words, say it out loud. Say, I can do this challenge. Here's the way I am able to do it, and that's what I'm going to do. Not, I'll think about it. Not, maybe I'll start tomorrow. Maybe I'll start next week. I'll try to do it. I'll try to see if I can work it into my schedule. Get rid of all the maybes and all the tries. As soon as you sit down and you honestly evaluate the challenge and are honest with yourself about to what level you're going to be able to participate in the challenge, just make the commitment to do that. Make the commitment to participate to whatever degree you are capable of. And once you truly make that commitment, get rid of the maybes, get rid of the tries, and say, I can do this, I'm going to do it, and here's how I'm going to do it. I promise the rest it's so easy, okay? I mean, doing the reps is hard work, but as far as finding the motivation to get up and get out here and get it done, once you make the decision that you're going to do it, I have confidence that you will do it. You will follow through. Now, life happens and you may fall off the wagon, you may have to miss a day here or there, but that doesn't mean that you have failed at the challenge. It doesn't mean that you have to scrap the whole thing and just give up, okay? Just get right back into it. Just make the commitment and then do your best. And remember that your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough, okay? If you miss a day today, there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day, you get right back into it, okay? And remember that I am not only here doing the challenge with you, I'm not only sharing a new workout with you every single day and working out right along with you, I am also here to help. So watch that day one video, and then of course, if you have any more questions about what the challenge is and exactly how it works and why are we doing it and who's Brutus and why are we slapping him and where do I start? I'm a beginner, can I even do these exercises? Will you help me? I can't do the modifications that you provided in that day one video. Anything you need, okay? Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. If you need help getting motivated to get out here and get the reps done. If you need a little bit of support, a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of a gentle push, okay? I'm here to help. Now this year, as I said, this is my 6th year in a row doing this challenge, and this year I am making a concerted effort, going out of my way every single day to make extra super duper sure that this challenge this year is accessible to ultra day one beginners. So if you are not a beginner, then the workouts we're doing this year are likely not going to challenge you very much. You're not going to find them very difficult or very intense. So I'm going to recommend that you follow along with last year's playlist if you're a little bit more advanced. So I will link last year's playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of this video as well. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing this challenge. And last year it was the same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day, except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts we were doing last year were much more challenging. They were much more intense. We were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps with each workout. Also, we were generally doing more advanced versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We were adding weight to a lot of the workouts. And also we were incorporating about 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes more, of additional cardio into most of last year's workouts. So if you have time today to do something a little bit longer and you're more advanced, go ahead and check out the workout that we did last year for day 23 of this challenge. I will link that workout specifically up here in the iCard. it will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it again at the very end of the video. So for today, go ahead and check out last year's day 23 workout. It's essentially the same workout at its core, but just made a little bit longer. I added some weight, I incorporated cardio. So if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more today, you can check out that workout. And then while you're there, make sure you save the playlist from last year. And save this playlist as well, even if you are more advanced, because even if you're capable of doing the more difficult, longer workouts, these workouts that we're doing this year are a great option to have. These are all still great workouts. They're just generally a lot shorter, a lot kind of simpler. So I'm focusing this year really on body weight exercises, because since I'm gearing the challenge towards beginners this year, I'm assuming that most beginners don't have a kettlebell or dumbbells or medicine balls or things like that. So pretty much all of the workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge are body weight only, no equipment required. So they're perfect if you're traveling and you don't have access to any equipment, or if you want to take your workout to the park or the beach or hiking trail or something and you don't want to lug, dumbbells along with you or medicine ball or something like that. You can just do your workout on the road or in another location, if you want to work out at the park today or something like that. Also, if you are in good shape, you are going to be able to complete almost all of the workouts that we are doing for the challenge this year in under 10 minutes. So they're also perfect. The workouts we're doing this year for the challenge are also perfect for days where you have absolutely no time. So if you don't have an hour to do the workout we were doing last year, then you can just take 10 minutes out of your day, bust out a quick 160 reps, and that's it. You're done for the day. Okay, so also the workouts that we're doing this year, if you're in really good shape, they can make a great warm-up for a longer, more intense workout. So if you wanted to go for a long run today or a hike, or a bike ride or something, one of these workouts we're doing this year, you could use it as a warm-up. So they're very versatile, even if you're more advanced and you're capable of doing the more difficult, longer workouts. There might be days when the workouts we're doing this year are going to work out better for you. So definitely save both playlists. You can kind of just bounce back and forth between the two playlists. I have the playlists organized in chronological order, and the workouts are labeled day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, but you don't necessarily have to just go in order through the playlist. Like I said, you can bounce back and forth between the two playlists. You can also kind of bounce around within one playlist. So if you're a beginner and you can't do the workouts we were doing last year, that doesn't mean you have to go in order through this year's playlist, starting on day 1 and going through all the way through day 40. You can do any given workout that you want to do on any given day. So you could do any of the workouts on this year's playlist. You could do any of the workouts on last year's playlist on any given day, as long as the workout you're choosing that day doesn't even have to be off of the playlist. Doesn't even have to be one of my workouts. It can be another workout that you found on YouTube. It can be your own workout that you wrote. As long as your workout contains a total of at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups, you're good. Just do that workout. So if there's, you open the playlist and you see, okay, what are we doing today? And you don't like the workout I'm doing today, you can just do another one. If you don't like today's workout, but there was a workout that we did earlier this year that you loved, just go back and repeat that one. Or if you feel like you're getting stronger and you want to try one of the more difficult workouts, you can check out last year's playlist and see if there's anything there that looks good to you. And you don't even have to do a structured workout at all, okay? This challenge is so easy to customize, because as long as you're getting those 160 reps done, then it doesn't matter which variations of squats, lunges, abs, or push-ups you do, and it doesn't matter how you get them done. So for example, if you love today's workout, but you just can't do the push-up variation I'm doing, just swap it out with a different push-up variation, okay? You can do that for any or all of the exercises on any given day. And if you do not have time to do a structured workout, or you just don't want to, because it's too difficult to do all the reps at once, that's fine. You don't even have to do a workout per se. You can just spread out your reps randomly throughout the day. That's absolutely fine. So when you get up in the morning, first thing, you can do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want and 10 push-ups. Any variation of those 4 exercises that you want. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the day. So you could do it again after lunch, you could do it again when you get home from work, and then 1 more time before bed. And that's your 160 reps. So it doesn't matter which workout you choose. It doesn't even matter if it's one of my workouts or some other workout you found on YouTube or a workout that you write, and it doesn't even matter if you do a structured workout at all. As long as you are getting your 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups done at some point during the day, it doesn't matter how you do them or when you get them done. So if it's your challenge, which it is if you're the one doing it, then just do it in any way that works for you. But that's basically how the challenge works, and that's where you're going to start if you want to join the challenge. You can jump in today and just start the challenge on day 23. That's fine by me. If you want to just jump in today and do the rest of the challenge, that's great. But I still recommend that you save the playlist and watch that day 1 video so that you understand exactly what the challenge is and why we're doing it. And then if you do decide that you want to go back and start on day 1, whether you want to start with this year's day 1 workout or last year's day 1 workout, just make sure that you start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday. The challenge is designed to start on a Wednesday, so any random Wednesday will do. But if you want to go back to the beginning and start your challenge on day 1, that's amazing. Save the playlist, watch the video for day 1, and then when you're ready to begin, just make sure you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. And then from there, all you need to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along. But again, remember, I'm always here if you need help. So if anything's unclear, if you have questions, I'm right here, okay? So that's how the challenge works, and that's how you can participate. And if you need help, I'm right here. So now let's go ahead and get into what we're doing today. Now, today's workout is a little bit different because we're on intervals. So when I tell you, even if you're super advanced, that you'll be able to complete most of the workouts we're doing this year in under 10 minutes, you definitely will not be able to complete today's workout in under 10 minutes because it's physically impossible. Today's workout is going to take at least 16 minutes. It's going to be 16 minutes of interval training, and then it's just going to take however long of a rest break you need in between each exercise. Okay, so somewhere around plus or minus 20 minutes for most of you, okay? Regardless of what kind of shape you're in. It's going to take plus or minus about 20 minutes once you factor in however much time it's going to take you to transition from one exercise to the next. So let's go ahead. We're going in order today. When I say that, what I mean is that we are spelling out the word slap. So S-L-A-P. We're starting with our S for squats. Now I'm doing today what I call Supergirl squats because I'm a girl, but if you're a big, strong man, you can feel free to call them Superman squats or give them some other type of like super cool, tough sounding name. All right, that's up to you. But here's how it works. So before you think about squatting, the first thing you want to do is tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets so that your shoulders are back, like you're kind of pinching your shoulder blades together behind you, and down, meaning towards your back pockets. Okay, so away from your ears. You don't want your shoulders up here. You want to push them down, push them back. Okay, so shoulders are back and down, like you're trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Your chest is lifted nice and high, so think about really lifting your chest up. So shoulders are down, chest is up. Now from here, the next thing you're going to think about is not squatting quite yet, because if you think about squatting, you might think of your squat as just kind of going straight down, and when you do that, your knees are going to tend to end up out over your toes. It's really easy to mess up your knees that way. We are not trying to mess up our knees. Instead of thinking about squatting straight down, what you're going to do is think about hinging at the hips. So if you imagine that you are trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, that is going to help you keep your back flat, and it is also going to help you keep the weight in your heels so that your knees are no longer coming out over your toes. You're pushing your booty back, keeping your weight in your heels. I can actually pick up my toes. All right, and remember that with your shoulders back and down and your chest lifted nice and high, that's also going to help you keep your back nice and flat. You want to make sure you're not rounding your back. So shoulders are back and down, you're keeping your chest lifted nice and high. So at the same time that you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, you want to think about also trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest so that your spine is nice and elongated. Your back is flat and your weight is in your heels. And then from this position is where you can go ahead and sink down into your squat. Now, what you're going for is to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. You might not be there yet, and that's fine. Make sure that you are working to your own level. Do not push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, okay? So your goal is to see if you can get your thighs parallel to the ground. But your objective is to keep your back flat and keep the weight in your heels. Minding your form is first and foremost, okay? So you may not achieve that goal of getting your thighs parallel today. That might be a goal that you don't achieve for another week, or that you don't achieve until day 40 of the challenge, or next year, okay? So just keep in mind that if you can only come down this deep into your squat without rounding your back or sacrificing your form in any way, then that's fine. This is where you are today. This is where you are for now. And then eventually, once you start to build up strength by doing the exercise correctly, you'll see your range of motion increase as you get stronger, and it's really encouraging, okay? So do your best, be okay with your best, but keep working towards that goal of eventually getting your thighs at least parallel to the ground. All right, and then once you've sunk as deep into the squat as you're going to, you're just going to press the ground away from you to straighten your legs and stand and return to your starting position. And so when I say press your heels into the ground, I mean actively press into the ground, like you're trying to push the ground away from you. That's just really going to help you activate all of the muscles from your feet through your quads, especially. You really want to feel your quads with this, your glutes, your core, okay? So actively press the ground away from you with your heels, and that's a basic air squat. So let's put it all together. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted nice and high. Push the booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Your spine's nice and elongated. And now keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heels, you're gonna sink down into your squat. Then press your heels into the ground, push the ground away from you to stand. Okay? So, shoulders back and down, chest is high, abs are tight. Push the booty back. Keep your chest lifted high. Sorry, there's a falcon on the wire. Hi there. Hi. Oh my God, she's big. Yeah, that's an air squat. I got distracted by the falcon, but yeah, hopefully that's clear. Now what I'm going to be doing, the squat variation I'm doing today is a little bit more advanced, and if you were an absolute beginner, you might not be able to do it. So you can just stick with air squats if you want. Remember, any squat variation you want to do is fine. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then I'll show you a couple of modifications that might help. But if the modifications are not working and that's still out of reach for you, for where you are currently with your fitness or your balance or whatever, then just, you can always stick with air squats, okay? So don't worry if you can't do this squat variation that I'm doing today. You can just do a different one. But I'm going to do my squat. Then what I'm going to do is shift my weight towards one foot. I'm gonna pick up the other foot. I'm going to extend my arms up overhead, and I'm going to lean over and come into this Supergirl position, which is really just warrior three pose if you've done yoga. But when I do my workouts, I call it Supergirl, because it's like you're flying, but really it's a warrior three pose. The concept is that you want your body in kind of like a T. So you want this standing leg more or less straight, but you do not want to actively try to straighten this leg by locking your knee. Don't do that. You specifically do not want to do that. You want the leg more or less straight, but make sure your knee is soft, not locked out like this, but you want a nice soft bend to your knee of your standing leg, okay? But generally straight. And then with your upper body, you want to extend your arms out in front of you and extend your foot behind you. And you're trying to achieve this position where from this toe to your fingertips is perfectly parallel with the floor. Okay, so you want your upper body to be perpendicular to your standing leg, like you're making a T. And then we're gonna hold it for a few seconds, okay? So it's really gonna be challenging for your balance. You're gonna feel this standing leg a lot, you're gonna feel this standing foot a lot, and you are going to feel your core. It's a great exercise, it's super challenging. We're going to be alternating sides with each rep. So then with your next rep, you'll squat, shift your weight to the other foot, pick up the opposite leg. You're going to extend your arms up overhead. Make sure you have a soft bend to the knee of this standing leg, and then you're gonna fly. So you're just going to come to this warrior three position, trying to get your body in the shape of a T. So standing leg is more or less straight. Fingertips are reaching out to touch this wall in front of you. Your other leg is extended behind you, trying to touch this wall with your toes, okay? And you're just gonna hold. You're gonna do your best to hold. Obviously, you might need to tap your foot down to check your balance. If you need to do that, then do it. Obviously, that's preferable to just like falling over. But the goal, obviously, is to make that transition from the squat into this warrior three pose as seamlessly and flawlessly as you can. And the goal is to have just beautiful, gorgeous, perfect balance and just make it look effortless and graceful. That's not what you're gonna see from me, but that's what you're aspiring towards. That being said, I do want to point out with this exercise and with pretty much any exercise where we're balancing, that if you find yourself wobbling a lot, I know it can be so frustrating. You're trying to balance and you keep falling out of it and having to put your foot down and check your balance and you just can't get it right. I know it can be super frustrating. Here's my little speech about balance, okay? Every time you're wobbling and fighting so hard for that balance, you are doing amazing core work, okay? You're actually really, really working your core a lot and your core is getting stronger. So I know it's frustrating, but just do your best to embrace it. Embrace the wobble, okay? Because you're actually working really hard trying to get your balance and it's really causing all of those little stabilizer muscles in your core to be firing like crazy. So just do your best to try to reframe that. I'm not saying you're not allowed to get frustrated, like, you know, good vibes only. That is not me, okay? It is perfectly normal and natural to feel frustration. Again, what you're aspiring towards, but you have this goal of just, you know, moving so flawlessly and having perfect balance and not wobbling at all. So when you fall short of your goal, it's only natural that that's going to frustrate you. So I'm not saying you're not allowed to be frustrated. You're absolutely allowed to be frustrated. If you're feeling frustrated, then that's just as valid as anything else, okay? It's normal, it's natural, and you don't have to feel bad about it, and you don't have to stifle it. You're not doing anything wrong if you get frustrated. I'm just saying that if you allow the frustration to be your sole focus, and you allow it to dictate your mindset moving forward, then you're only going to sabotage the rest of your workout, and it's only going to get worse from there. So go ahead and feel the frustration, but also allow yourself to acknowledge that you're doing really good work. So even though it's frustrating, just remember, it's frustrating, but I'm getting stronger. It's frustrating, but my muscles are working so hard. It's frustrating, but I'm fighting and I'm doing my best. And my best is if that's the best I can do, then it's amazing that I'm out here doing my best. So I'm saying just do your best to try to reframe it and not let it kind of dictate your mindset if you get frustrated, okay? So Sorry, I keep picking at my eye. It's really weird. I keep feeling like I have an eyelash in my eye. So I keep like seeing it. It's really weird. Anyway, so that's my squat variation. So let's put a couple of reps together. Hopefully very smooth and graceful reps. We shall see. So you're gonna squat and then Supergirl. You'll probably see me reach out and touch this post to check my balance up several times, and then other side, squat, Supergirl. And here when I'm not near the post, I'll probably fall out of it a few times, have to tap my toe down, and I'll just get right back into it, okay? But we're going to be alternating sides with each rep. Let me show you a couple of modifications. I'm gonna pause for a second and go try to fix whatever's going on with this eye so I can stop picking at it. And then I'll show you some modifications if this variation that I'm doing today is a little bit out of reach for you right now. Okay, the eyelash has been dealt with. You guys, there was an eyelash like literally on my eyeball. So gross. But it has been removed. I'm sorry if that grosses you out. I am so grossed out by eyeballs. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not gonna go into like, there's stories about how grossed out I am by eyeballs, but like, when I go to my eye doctor, they do now this like, do you get this done at your eye doctor? They do this like scan of your entire eyeball, and the doctor's like trying to show me, there's this big screen on the monitor of like my whole eyeball, like the whole eyeball, and he's like, and I was just like, oh, and he's like, oh, does that gross you out? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't know why a lot of people are so grossed out by this. I think it's so cool. I'm like, you're an eye doctor. Normal people are grossed out by like a whole ass eyeball. He was seriously baffled. He's like, it's so cool. I'm like, dude, it's gross. All right, anyway, so if you are a beginner, do not grab a flimsy plastic folding chair for support. This is just what I have in my garage, so this is what I always use to demonstrate so that you understand what I'm talking about. But if you do need a chair for support, please make sure, this is my, what is this, day 23, so this is probably my 23rd chair speech so far this year. Please make sure that your chair is strong enough to support your body weight. Make sure that it is sturdy enough so that it will not fold up on you or collapse or break when you put weight on it, and make sure that it is stable, meaning that it cannot slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. So if you do need to use something like a chair or a bar stool, for example, I always recommend that you place your chair on top of an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that it stays put. Okay, so make sure it is strong enough to support your entire body weight, even if you're just kind of leaning on it a little bit. You never know. If you lose your balance and you end up having to kind of put more of your weight on the chair, you just want to make sure that the chair can support your entire body weight just to be safe. All right, because you are going to be leaning on it for support. And make sure that it is sturdy. So definitely not a folding chair, please. Not even just like a flimsy plastic chair like this. Make sure your chair is solid. Make sure it's good quality. Make sure it's well made. Make sure it's in decent condition. Okay, so it's not going to collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it. And then, yeah, just placing it on like a yoga mat or an exercise mat so it doesn't slide from underneath you. When I'm doing this in my living room and I use one of my dining room chairs on my wood floor, it's very easy for it to slide along the floor. So when you put weight on it, it could slide, you'll fall and get hurt. I don't want anyone falling and getting hurt. So please use your common sense and be safe. If you need to hold on to a chair or some other sort of elevated surface for support, you want to make sure that you are doing so safely. So strong, sturdy, and stable is what we are looking for. But if you need to hold on to a chair for support, that might make this exercise much more manageable. So you can squat and then lean forward. You can lift up that leg. If you can't lift it all the way up so that it is parallel to the ground, see if you can lift it just a little bit, okay? And you want to try to challenge yourself to use the chair as little as possible. So if you really need to lean into it and that's where you are, then lean into it. It's there to assist you, so use it to assist you. But if you're able to just kind of hover your hands up so that you just have to kind of tap it for balance, or just keep your fingertips lightly on the chair just to aid you with your balance. That's better. So you want to make it your goal to use the chair as little as possible, but it's there, so use it as much as you need, okay? And then you would just alternate sides with each breath. So then squat, lift the other leg behind you, lean forward as far as you can. Again, your goal is to get your torso parallel to the ground, but if you're using a chair for support, then your torso will probably not quite be parallel to the ground and you'll be more up here, okay? But lean forward as much as you can, use the chair to assist you as much as you can. If you're capable of leaning forward more, but it's just your balance that you're worried about, then yeah, you can have the chair farther out in front of you, do your squat, and then get your body all the way parallel, but then you can just kind of hold on to the chair like this so that you it helps you to maintain your balance, okay? Just use it as little as possible. So that's one possibility. Remember, you can always shorten up your range of motion. So you can have the chair closer, you can lean forward to a lesser degree and pick up your foot to a lesser degree, so your leg doesn't have to be all the way up here. It can be here, okay? Work to your own level, but I think using a chair for support and shortening up your range of motion is probably going to make this exercise manageable for most, if not all of you. Remember that you can always sit into the chair. So if you're at this level, then I want you to forget all about the Supergirl or Warrior or Superman or whatever you want to call it, and just work on your squats, okay? If you need to sit down into a chair for your squats, if you're at that level, then just work on your air squats. Just remember, if you are using a chair this way to assist you, that you're not just falling into the chair. You want the movement to be under control. So you're gonna roll your shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. You're gonna push your booty back, and you're gonna keep your back flat and the weight in your heels as you lower yourself down with control. Then once your booty hits the chair, yeah, you can sit down into the chair. Press your heels into the ground to stand. So the chair is there to assist you, but you just want to make sure that you're controlling the movement and not just falling into the chair, okay? Because if you just allow gravity to take over and fall into the chair, you're not going to get any stronger. The goal is to get stronger so that eventually you can do an unassisted air squat. So you have to really, really make your quads do as much of the work as you possibly can, okay? But if you're at that level, just work on your air squats. Don't worry about the Supergirl. And if you're able to do an unassisted air squat, then just have a chair or some other elevated surface in front of you for support as you lean forward, so that you don't worry about your balance. And it can be maybe your dining room table or the arm of your couch or something like that. So any kind of elevated surface will work as long as it is strong enough, sturdy enough, and stable enough to be used safely. So make the decision that is best for you. But I think that one of those variations should work for beginners. So if you need any further help with beginner modifications, just ask. But I think that's going to be doable for pretty much everyone that I can think of doing the challenge this year. All right, so that's our S. Next is L, lunges. So today we are doing what 99.9% of people call a curtsy lunge. So if you know what a curtsy lunge is, that's what we're doing. If you see anyone else talking about curtsy lunges, this is what they're talking about. But I call it a dragon lunge. And I think a dragon lunge is a thing that's similar to this, but I think that I don't know, I've always called these dragon lunges. But regardless of what you want to call them, this is what it is. So if you imagine that you are standing in a box, what you're going to do is pick up one foot. So I'm starting with my feet about shoulder width apart. Again, you're going to start by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. You want your shoulders back and down, chest lifted nice and high. And again, you want to tighten up your abs like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact. Really, really engage those ab muscles. And again, you always want to think of keeping your back flat and keeping the weight in your heels. So that's the same for squats and lunges. Shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, abs tight, back flat, weight in the heels. So what I'm going to do is pick up one foot and I'm going to take a step behind me and diagonally across my body, like I'm trying to tap this back corner of my box with my foot, okay? So shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. I'm gonna push the booty back, pick up this foot, lunge behind me and diagonally across my body, place the foot down, this front foot stays planted. And then from here, I'm going to bend both knees and sink down into my lunge. I like to tap this back knee to the ground, but you don't have to. If you are able to tap your back knee to the ground without causing yourself pain, without pushing your body into doing something it's not ready to do, and you want to do that, great. But you don't have to. So if you can't or you don't want to tap your back knee to the ground, you'll just be here, okay? But the point is that you want to keep your front foot planted, and then to come up, you're going to press your weight into this heel of your front foot, and you're going to bring this foot forward. Now, if you want to just be here, just do your dragon lunge and step the foot forward, okay? That's your beginner modification. And again, you can hold onto a chair for support if you need to. You can shorten up your range of motion if you need to. So if you're unable to step your foot all the way back to that corner, you can step it here, okay? As opposed to here. So you can shorten up your range of motion if you're a beginner. You can take a shorter step. You cannot sink all the way down here for your lunge. You can just be here. So you can shorten up your range of motion on this step, shorten up your range of motion on the lunge, and you can hold on to something for support. And you can step the foot forward and return to your starting position. Those are all your beginner modifications. Now what I'm going to be doing is, instead of stepping this back foot forward, from my lunge position here, I'm going to bring this knee up to the side and hold it, okay? And then I'm gonna go from here right into my next rep. If that's too difficult and you need to reset, that's another modification. You can put the foot down, reset, and then go into your next lunge. Bring the leg forward, bring the knee up and hold, and then reset. This is a modification that I'm showing you right now, okay? Lunge, bring the knee up, reset. I'm not going to be resetting the foot. I'm going to be going straight into my next lunge, okay? So I'm going to be doing it this way. Step the foot back and diagonally across the body. Bend both knees, sink into the lunge. Press the front heel into the ground to stand. And on the way up, bring this back leg forward, bring the knee out to the side and hold. And then I'm gonna go right into my next rep. Lunge, knee up and hold, staying on the same leg the entire time. Lunge, bring the knee up and hold. Okay, so it's pretty challenging and it's really difficult. It's hard work for the standing leg. You're gonna feel your glutes. Holy cannoli, you're gonna feel your glutes, okay? It's a really tough modification, so remember you can set that foot down at any time and reset if you need to, okay? If you are bringing the leg up, when you're in this position, what you really wanna be aware of is that you're not just kind of chilling, okay? I'm not just hanging out here, like holding my knee to the side. You wanna really work this pose. So what I mean by that is you want to be active. I don't just want to be standing here and all my muscles are relaxed and I'm just chilling. I want to press this foot of my standing leg into the ground like I am a tree, and I want to have roots growing out of the bottom of my foot and into the ground, okay? And then I want to activate all of these muscles the same way we push the ground away and activate all those muscles in our feet and our quads and our glutes to stand up from our squats. I want to activate all those muscles to stand from my lunge, and then as I'm here, I want to keep activating them. I want to keep pushing myself up. So I'm pushing my foot down into the ground, like I have roots growing into the ground, but I'm doing that so that I can push the rest of my body up. I'm trying to elongate my spine and touch the ceiling with my head, okay? So you want to really work this pose. I'm pressing my foot into the ground and I'm lifting my body up, okay? I'm pressing myself up away from the ground. So all of the muscles in my legs and my glutes are so engaged and so tight and so active, okay? So pressing the foot down, lifting the body up. So make sure you're really working that pose and staying really active in that pose. And that's it, that's our squat variation. So I'm doing this, let me do the other side so I even myself out a little bit. I'm doing this, I'm taking a step behind me, doing my dragon lunge, pressing my foot into the ground, bringing this back foot forward, bringing the knee up to the side and holding it, pressing that foot into the ground, working this pose, okay? And then right into my next rep, this foot goes behind me, lunge, knee up and hold, and balance. Fight for that balance. And when you wobble, and when you have to tap your foot down, and when it's messy and sloppy, embrace it, okay? Because that means you're working, and that means you're getting stronger. All right, so do your best. You can have a strong, sturdy, stable surface in front of you if you need to hold on to something for support or to help you maintain your balance. You can shorten up your range of motion on the step, shorten up your range of motion on the lunge. You can reset between reps, or you can eliminate the knee lift altogether and just work on your dragon lunges, okay? So choose whatever option is going to work best for you. I do want you to challenge yourself, but it's also really important that you listen to your body and that you work to your own level and that you're not pushing your body into doing anything it's not ready to do. So please listen to your body, be smart, use your common sense, be safe, and just make the decision that's best for you. But that is my lunge variation today. So let's move on to A for abs. So for my ab exercise today, I'm going to be down on the mat. So if you cannot get down on the mat, you can do standing abs. We have gone over a couple of different options for standing abs, but I'm trying to think in my head of everyone that I know is doing the challenge with me, and I think you are all able to get down onto your mat for abs. But remember that there are standing ab options as well, so if you need to see those, please let me know. But I think that most beginners, if not all of you that are doing the challenge with me, are able to come down onto your mat for abs. So we're going to be doing a boat pose. So again, if you've ever done any yoga, you'll have an advantage here. So far today, we've done Warrior 3, and now we're doing a boat pose. A little modified, a little bit easier version, okay? So you're going to have your knees bent. I'm down here on my back to start, and all I'm doing is lifting my heels up off the mat, and my knees are bent at, I don't know, not quite a 90-degree angle, but 90-degree-ish, okay? I'm going to start with my arms extended up overhead like this, and then I'm going to sit up, and I'm going to reach my arms towards my heels. I'm not touching my leg. My hands are just right next to my legs, and I want my arms to be kind of in line with my shins or my calves, the bottom half of my legs, okay? So more or less parallel with the ground with my legs and my arms. My hands are just to the side. They're not touching. They're just right next to my legs, and we're just gonna hold, all right? And then for the next rep, I'm gonna leave my legs here, keep my heels elevated the entire time. I'm gonna come down, put my back down on the mat, extend my arms up overhead, and return to my starting position. That's one rep. So then with my next rep, I'm gonna come up and hold. All right, that's the entire exercise, super simple. So bring the back down and then come up and hold. One quick thing is that before you sit up, I want you to be aware of, if you're lying here, like just in a relaxed position, okay? Like if you're lying in Shavasana, we'll stick with our yoga today. If you're lying here in corpse pose, there is a natural curve in your spine right here at your low back. So if I'm just relaxing here, there's a curve right here in my low back. That's supposed to be there. It's fine, don't worry about it. You're not doing anything wrong if there's a space between your low back and the mat, but do you see how I can actually fit my hand underneath there? But what you want to do before you sit up is actually get rid of that curve, and you do that by tilting your pelvis this way. So if you place your hands on your hips and then do this, all right, you want to actually tilt your pelvis this way so that you are pressing your low back into the mat. Think about trying to touch your spine with your belly button. So put your hands on your hips, rotate your hips this way. Suck your belly button back towards your spine and press your low back into the mat. Do you see how now I cannot get my hand underneath there? There's no space between my low back and the mat. So we went from this to this, okay? So right before you sit up and bring your arms up, you want to really take a second to actively press your low back into the mat, engage those abs and use your ab muscles to lift yourself up, okay? So that you want to make sure that you're really engaging your abs, not just kind of like using momentum to swing your body forward, okay? Even though you're using your arms, you want to really make sure that you're engaging your abs and making your abs do the work of actually lifting your torso. So just that second of pressing your low back into the mat and engaging your abs before you come up, okay? If it is too difficult to have your heels off the mat, then you really can just have your heels on the mat and maybe just do a sit up and hold. You can sit up and come forward and touch your toes. If you're flexible and you want to incorporate a little stretching, maybe you can, because we're going to be holding the position for a second, so you really could do something like this. I call this a competition sit up, where your legs are straight. You can sit up and reach forward and touch the toes and maybe hold here and incorporate like a little bit of a hamstring stretch, just stretch the back of your legs. Okay, so there's lots of different options. Remember that any ab variation you want to do will work. So any sit-up variation, any crunch variation will work. The point is that we're going to be holding for a few seconds. So I'm going to be holding for a few seconds in this boat pose. You can do what I just showed you. If you want to incorporate a stretch, you can hold here. So I don't know, I'm just trying to think, like if you just are doing like a regular sit-up, I guess you really could just kind of sit up and hold here and maybe just reach up, stretch out your arms, stretch out your shoulders, or incorporate some other type of stretch. Or maybe you could come up and like maybe do Russian twists for that period of time where I'm holding my boat pose. So just be aware that we're on 6-second intervals. So each rep is going to take 6 seconds. So since it only takes a second to come up here, the point of this workout is that we're going to be holding for the remainder of the 6-second interval. So what you can be doing for that 6-second interval, again, if you're doing your competition sit-ups, you can just stretch. But if you're just doing regular sit-ups, you can either stay here and stretch, or you can fill that 6 seconds. Like I said, maybe you could do like 2 or 4 Russian twists or something like that. But any ab exercise is fine. So if you need to do standing abs, you could do your standing ab exercise that I show you every day, holding on to a chair or the wall for support, and then just extending your other leg out to the side. Free hand goes behind your head. You can lift your knee and hold. And as you do that, you're crunching this elbow down towards your knee. Try to touch your knee with your elbow if you can. If you can't, then just bring it as close as you can, but you can just hold here and then reset. And then with your next rep, crunch and hold for the remainder of that 6-second interval, and then return to the starting position, something like that. Just make sure if you do standing abs like that, that you do an even amount on each side. You're gonna have to do 20 on one side and 20 on the other. So just be aware of that. But any ab exercise will work, and I think this standing ab exercise really is accessible for everyone. So if you need any further help with beginner modifications, I'm here to help, but I think everyone should be good with the boat pose or some sort of sit-up variation. If not, you can do standing abs. But that's abs, that's our S, our L, and our A. So last but not least is push-ups. So we started with Supergirl abs, and I am finishing with Supergirl push-ups. So it's the same kind of concept. The push-up itself is just a standard push-up. So we did like just a basic air squat, and then we added the Supergirl component afterwards. The push-ups are going to work the same. So it's just a standard push-up, but then after I do my push-up, I'm going to lift one hand in front of me and extend the arm in front of me, and at the same time I'm going to pick up the opposite leg and extend it behind me like this, and I'm going to hold. Okay, alternating sides with each rep. So then with my next rep, I'll do another push-up, and then I'm going to pick up the other hand, opposite leg, extend the arm out in front, extend the leg behind, and then return to my plank position. Okay, so let's just go over the proper form for your push-up, and then I'll show you some modifications. So first of all, I'm going to assume that most of you are doing your push-ups from your knees. But even if you are a beginner, that doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot do push-ups from your toes. Not all beginners are automatically at the same level just because they're beginners. So if you're capable of doing the push-ups from your toes, that's great. You can do that. But I think most of you are doing the push-ups from your knees. So let's go over that first. So if you're doing knee push-ups, you're gonna start by placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Step your feet back so that you are in a plank position, and then from here you're just going to put your knees down right where they are. So the three things that you want to be aware of before you do your push-up is number one, your head. You want your head to be in line with your spine, so make sure you're not allowing your head to drop down like this. Make sure also that you're not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck like this. You just want your head to be in line with your spine, so if you imagine that you're standing up against a wall, you want to think about just lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall so that your head is just, you're perfectly straight up and down. Head is right in line with your spine. And you want to make sure your head stays still. It's a tendency for a lot of people to kind of bob their head up and down as they're doing the push-ups, so be aware of that. You want to avoid that. So head in line with the spine and make sure your head stays still. The second thing I want you to be aware of is that you're not kind of sinking into your shoulders like this. This is another really common mistake. So the way you fix this is by actively pressing your hands into the mat and pushing the ground away from you. You want to spread out all of your fingers like this so that your weight is as evenly distributed as possible, and then you want to really actively press the ground away from you. So you want your shoulders to be away from your ears. So if you find that you're kind of sinking down like this, spread out those fingers, press the ground away, shoulders are away from the ears. And then finally, the third thing is that I want you to be aware that your back is flat and that you're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. This is another really common mistake. So the way to fix this one is by tightening up your abs and then using your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them high. The point is that you want a nice straight back. You don't want to allow your back to arch like this. So again, it's like someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for that impact. That's how tight your abs should be. Really tighten up your abs and make sure you're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high. Your abs should be super strong and tight and engaged the entire time. That's the key to keeping a flat back. So once you're here and your body is in one perfectly straight line from your knees to your shoulders, nothing moves, all right? You think of your body as like a plank of wood. So you're going to take this plank of wood and lower it down to the mat, down to the ground, and then lift it back up. But this is your body from your knees to your shoulders, does not move, okay? So if you cannot, your goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat like this. And then press the ground away and push yourself back up. But your goal is to do that without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So again, we're gonna talk goals versus objective. So your goal is to touch the mat with your chest, but you might not be there today. That might be a goal that you meet next week or next month or next year, but it's your goal. Your objective is to maintain a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. That is more important. That's your objective. So if you are unable today to get your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only come this close to the mat without lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat and causing an arch in your back, then just shorten up your range of motion, okay? If you can only come this far without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, then you're gonna stop here, and then you're going to press the ground away from you and push yourself back up to your starting position. And that's your push-up. It's fine to shorten up your range of motion. The main thing is that you want to keep your head still. So if you can only come down this far, you don't want to compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead down to the ground. That's a very common mistake. So remember to keep your head still, and remember that your objective, your one job, is to just keep that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So shortening up your range of motion is fine. If you cannot get your chest all the way down, just don't compensate by lowering your forehead down to the mat or by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, okay? So if you're doing the push-ups from your toes, it's the exact same exercise. Literally the only difference is that instead of your straight line being from your knees to your shoulders, your straight line is going to be from your heels to your shoulders like this, okay? So your head is in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop down. You're not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck. Your shoulders are away from your ears. You're not sinking down into your shoulders. You're pressing the ground away from you and pushing yourself up as high as you can. Your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. Your hips are lifted high. You're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this and causing an arch in your back. You're going to tighten up those abs, lift the hips high and keep them high. If your hips are slightly elevated like this, that's not terrible, because in that position your back is flat. So you're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way, and it will actually make the push-ups just a little bit easier. So don't worry about it too much. But ideally, you want your hips to be not up here, but here. If they're slightly elevated, don't worry about it too much. Just work towards correcting it. But it's the opposite that you really want to avoid. So if it's this, and your hips or your belly are kind of sinking down towards the mat, and there's an arch in your back, that's what you need to correct right away. But this is ideal. This is what you're going for, so that your body is in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And then from there, again, nothing moves. Okay, so it's a moving plank. Your body is a 2x4 from your heels to your shoulders. So you're going to bend your elbows. You're going to lower your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, you have two options. Option number one, put your knees down and do knee push-ups. Option number two, shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only come down this far, that's fine. Press the ground away, push yourself back up. But don't compensate for the fact that you can't get your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, okay? Don't compensate for the fact that you can't get your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead to the mat. This is another really common mistake. A lot of people do this. They can't get their chest all the way down, so they lower their forehead down to the mat. I think a lot of times people don't even realize that they are doing it. It is done on a subconscious level because you're trying so hard to get all the way down that when you're unable to get your chest all the way down, you just want to kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're getting all the way down by lowering your forehead to the mat. So I always think it's a really good idea to record yourself doing a few reps so that you can see what you look like, because a lot of times people are making one of these 3 mistakes without even realizing it. When I say one of these 3 mistakes, I'm talking about head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. Keep maintaining that straight line from your heels to your shoulders or your knees to your shoulders. A lot of times people are bobbing their head up and down, they're sinking down into their shoulders, and they're allowing their back to arch without realizing it. So those are the 3 main things that you want to pay attention to. So I think it's a really good idea to record yourself doing a few reps, see if you're committing any of those errors so that you can work to fix them. You have all of your solutions, okay? So it's fine to shorten up your range of motion. If you can only come halfway down, that's fine. Come here, and then once you've gotten as close to your chest, as close to the mat as you can, without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, just press the mat away and push yourself back up, okay? So that's your form for just a standard push-up. Now, if you want to add the Supergirl pose, I'm just going to be doing my push-up, and then lifting one arm, one leg, and holding. Alternating sides with each rep. So then with my next rep, I'm going to do another push-up, and then I'm going to lift the opposite hand, extend the arm out in front of me, lift the other foot, and extend the foot behind me, and hold. Okay? So if you're doing knee push-ups, you can do your knee push-up, and then if you're able to come up to a plank and do your Supergirl this way, feel free. If not, you can keep one knee on the mat for support and just extend one arm out in front of you, extend the opposite leg behind you. Then put the hand down, put the knee down, next rep. Another knee push up, and then extend the other arm out in front of you, opposite leg behind you, alternating sides with each rep. If that's still too difficult, then just do the arms, okay? So whether you're doing the push-ups from your toes or from your knees, you can just extend one arm and hold, keeping either both knees on the mat, or you can do that from a high plank position. Extend one arm out in front of you and hold, and then with your next rep, extend one arm out in front of you and hold. Or you could do just the legs. So you could do your push-up, and then extend one leg out behind you and hold. Put the knee down, do another push-up, and then extend the opposite leg behind you and hold. You can do the same thing from a high plank, okay? So do your push-up, pick up one leg and hold. So you can do your push-up from the knees and then come up to a high plank and do the Supergirl the way I'm doing it. Or you can do your push-up from your knees and then just do the Supergirl with one knee on the mat to support you. Or you can do just the arms, just the legs, with the push-up either from your knees or from your toes, okay? So if none of that's going to work for you, then again, remember that any push-up variation is fine. So we're on 6-second intervals. We're going to do one push-up every 6 seconds. So I'm going to be doing my push-up, and then with the remainder of my 6-second interval, I'm gonna hold this Supergirl position. But if the Supergirl position is too difficult for you, you can just do your push-up and hold, okay? And then the timer's gonna beep again. That's the start of your next 6-second interval. Do another push-up, and then with the remainder of those 6 seconds, you're just gonna hold here, okay? That's if you want to eliminate the arm raise or the leg raise or both. Make sense? I think that makes sense. I do think that everyone doing the challenge is capable of doing one of those variations, but if not, remember you can always do your push-ups with your hands elevated on a chair or on your dining room table, the arm of your couch, your kitchen counter. You could even do wall push-ups. So if you need to see any of those variations, please just let me know. I have demonstrated and explained those variations almost every day. I'm not going to do it today because this is already just so long, and I do think Again, as I'm going through my head thinking of the people I know who are doing the challenge, I think you're all doing knee push-ups. So I think you're all capable of getting down on the mat and doing some variation of knee push-ups. But if you're not, and if you need to see how to do knee push-ups with your hands elevated on a chair, or if you need a standing push-up variation, and you need to see how to do push-ups off of your kitchen counter or off of the wall, I am right here to help, so please just ask. But I think that you can all manage knee push-ups. So I'm gonna say that's enough instruction for today. That's it. That's all 4 exercises along with your beginner modifications. So now here's the format. I am going to start, we're going in order, so we're going to spell SLAP, S-L-A-P. So I'm going to start with squats. We're on intervals. So I'm going to have my interval timer set for 1 interval. That interval is going to be 6 seconds long. And I'm going to have my timer set for 20 rounds. So 1 6-second interval times 20 rounds is 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes, okay? So we're going to begin with 2 minutes of squats with no break. We're going to do our Supergirl squats, alternating sides with each rep. So each 6-second interval, you're going to do 1 squat, and then you're going to hold your Supergirl pose, or your Warrior 3 pose, or your Superman pose, whatever you want to call it, for the remainder of that 6-second interval. Then with the next 6-second interval, you'll switch sides. So you'll do another air squat, and then with the remainder of that 6 seconds, you are going to lift the opposite leg and extend your arms up overhead and do your Warrior 3 pose on the other leg. Then when the timer beeps to let you know that the next 6-second interval has begun, you will immediately do another squat, and then you'll go into your Warrior 3 pose and hold for the remainder of the 6-second interval, okay? So we're going to do that 20 times, alternating sides with each rep. And then once the timer does that long series of beeps to let us know that our 2 minutes is up, we're gonna shake it out. We've now completed 20 squats. We're going to move on to L for lunges. We're going to do 20 dragon lunges, spending 6 seconds on each rep, staying on the same side for all 20 reps. So you're going to do your dragon lunge, bring the knee up and hold. Okay, so then the timer's gonna beep. That's the start of our next 6-second interval. So as soon as the next 6-second interval starts, you do another lunge, then you bring that leg up and hold for the remainder of that 6-second interval. Okay, so each time the timer beeps, lunge and hold until it beeps again. Lunge and hold. So each 6 seconds we do 1 lunge, and then with the remainder of the 6-second interval we hold. We're gonna do that 20 times. Then we're gonna shake it out, and then we'll move on to abs. We're doing our boat pose. So we gotta sit up and hold boat pose. So each 6 seconds, we're going to do 1 sit up. You'll sit up, and then with the remainder of the 6-second interval, hold your boat pose. Then the timer will beep. That means it's time to do another sit up. So you're gonna return to your starting position and then immediately do another sit up. And with the remainder of that 6-second interval, you'll hold your boat pose, okay? So we'll do 20 reps of sit-ups, and that's gonna take exactly 2 minutes. So then we're gonna do the same thing with our push-ups, S-L-A-P. So last but not least is push-ups. Push up, and then Supergirl pose and hold. Then when the timer beeps, you'll do another push-up, and then repeat that Supergirl pose on the other side, raising the opposite arm and the opposite leg and holding that pose, okay? So each 6 seconds, you do a push-up, and then you hold that Supergirl pose with the remainder of the 6-second interval. You're gonna alternate sides with each rep. So after 2 minutes, we will have completed 10 push-ups. So now we have spent 2 minutes on squats, 2 minutes on lunges, 2 minutes on abs, and 2 minutes on push-ups. So we're 8 minutes in, and we are halfway through. We have to repeat the entire thing to get our 40 reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. So the whole thing is going to take exactly 16 minutes, plus however much time it takes you to move from one exercise to the next. So the goal is to keep your rest breaks in between squats and lunges as short as possible, in between lunges and abs as short as possible, in between abs and push-ups as short as possible, and then keep your break between your first set of push-ups and your second set of squats. As we go back and start the circuit again, keep that break as short as possible, okay? So take as long of a rest as you need, but challenge yourself to keep the rest break as short as possible. So the whole thing, like I said, is going to take about plus or minus 20 minutes. It's impossible to finish it in anything less than 16 minutes because we're going to be working for 16 minutes exactly. But then however long it takes you in between exercises, you want to keep that as short as you can. Just make sure you're resting as long as you need, because first and foremost, you want to mind your form. It's really important that you are only moving on to the next exercise when you feel that you are capable of doing so with good form. So make sure that you rest as long as you need, okay? I know this format is different than what we've been doing. Please remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the instructions, with the format, with how everything fits together, just ask. One final thing I do want to mention is that during each 2-minute section, okay, the goal is to not rest at all. But it's going to be difficult, and I might not be able to do 20 push-ups this way, okay? So it's a lot. I might have to rest at some point. I might have to skip an interval or two. So the important thing is not just that you're doing those 2 minutes, but that you're completing all 20 reps. So if at some point, like if you're able to complete 10 push-ups and then you just need to rest, but the timer is still going, you have to just keep track of how many intervals you missed so that you can make up those reps. So say for example, I'm able to do 12 push-ups, but then I need to rest. I'm gonna keep track, okay, I just missed 1 interval, now I missed 2 intervals, now I missed 3 intervals, now I missed 4 intervals. Now I feel like I have enough stamina to continue. So I'm gonna continue, but then once the 2 minutes is up, I have to remember how many intervals I missed, because that's how many push-ups I need to make up, okay? So then after that 2 minutes, you can shake it out a little bit, and then if you had to miss 1 push-up or 2 push-ups or 4 push-ups, you're gonna make those up right away, okay? You could also make them up at some point later in the day, as long as you get your 40 reps of push-ups done at some point during the day, it's fine. But for squats, lunges, abs, push-ups, if you need to pause and rest during that 2-minute chunk of time where you're not supposed to be resting, where there's no rest scheduled, and where the timer is just kind of like forging ahead without you if you have to rest, it's really important that you're keeping track of your count so that you know how many intervals you had to rest for. That's how many reps of that exercise you're gonna need to make up, okay? So hopefully that is all clear again. I'm gonna do the workout with you, and you have your written instructions. So if anything is still unclear, just ask. I'm always here to clarify, but that's it. That is what we are doing today. So just make sure, please, before you begin the workout, that you do understand each exercise, you understand the movement, you understand what it is that you're asking your body to do. It's really important that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So if you have questions about the exercises or how to do them correctly, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications, please just ask, okay? It's really important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me, especially so for this challenge this year. So I'm always here to help facilitate that. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. And then just one final reminder to please make sure that you're working to your own level, okay? Don't push your body into doing something it's not ready to do, and make sure you're minding your form. It's one thing to understand the movement and to understand how to do the exercises correctly. It's equally as important to apply that knowledge during the workout. So make sure you're minding your form. You understand how to do the exercises correctly. Make sure you're actually doing them correctly during the workout. It's really easy as you fatigue to start getting sloppy with your form. But if your form starts getting sloppy, then you are increasing your risk of injury, and I don't want anyone getting hurt. So remember that you can pause and rest if you need to. I'm going to do my best to move from one exercise to the next as quickly as I can. If you need a longer rest break than what I'm taking, pause the video and come back when you're ready. If we finish a 2-minute section and you had to sit out a few intervals and you have 4 squats to make up or 4 push-ups to make up, pause the video. Make up your reps, and then when you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina to continue with good form, resume the video, resume your workout, okay? So I think that's it. I've been going on for 2 hours, so if I didn't cover everything by now, I don't think it's happening today. If you are ready to go ahead and start this workout, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But if you are doing an ab exercise like I am that requires you to be down on the floor or the ground, or if you're doing knee push-ups, you're going to be much more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you need to hold on to something for support, go ahead and grab a strong, sturdy, stable chair or bar stool or some other sort of elevated surface that you can safely lean on to support you if necessary. And then go ahead and pause the video, get dressed, and then meet me right back here. We are going to do a quick 5-minute warm up, and then we'll go ahead and get our reps done together. All right, so when you're ready, let's get started with our quick 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to gently fall towards one shoulder, and then just place your hand on top of your head and just let it rest there. Make sure you're not actively pulling your ear towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head and letting gravity do the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. Now switch sides, so let your head fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just let it rest there. Your shoulders should be nice and relaxed, so make sure that your shoulders are not creeping up towards your ears. Make sure they're relaxed and down. Now we're gonna do some head rolls. So just start by letting your chin fall to your chest, and then roll your head towards the other shoulder and back. And with each roll, you wanna feel your head starting to just get heavier and heavier. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Expand your range of motion with each roll. And now we're just gonna roll the shoulders back. So make really big circles with your shoulders. Kind of exaggerate the movement as much as you can. Explore your full range of motion. And now we're going to extend the arms straight out to the sides, and you're going to start by making small circles. And then gradually, as the interval progresses, you're going to start increasing your range of motion, making bigger and bigger circles, until finally your circles are as big as you can make them. Really swing those arms. Now you're gonna step your feet out wider than shoulder width apart, bend your knees, and kind of sweep your hands down in front of you. And then as you straighten your legs to stand, you wanna stretch those arms up and try to touch the ceiling. Sinking deeper and deeper into that squat with each rep. Now keep your feet wide apart. We're gonna do some lunges, side to side. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're going to reach your arm across your body. Pretend you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now we're gonna step the feet back in and march. So just a nice march, and with each step, I want you to just slowly start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high towards your chest as you can. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. And then we're gonna do the same thing with a nice light jog. So start here with your knees low, and then gradually, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest. Next is our little booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but now you're kicking your feet up behind you with each step and trying to kick yourself in the booty cheek with your heel. Now for this next one, you might need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're gonna pick up one foot and swing the leg. Just swing it forwards and back. Nice and loose. Now we're gonna switch sides. So put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg. Swing it in front of you, swing it behind you. Just really loose. Now we're gonna transfer the weight again. So you're gonna put this swinging foot down. You're gonna pick up the other foot, extend it out in front of you, and then draw a semicircle. Bring that foot around and behind you. And with each semicircle, you wanna start picking up that leg a little higher. And then finally what I like to do is drive my knee up in front of me, kind of guide it around with the other hand. Let's repeat that on the other side. So starting with that foot down low to the ground as you draw your semicircle. And then with each rep, start lifting that leg higher and higher. And then finally you can drive the knee up in front of you, kind of guide it around with your hand. This is our final interval. So let's get into our hamstring stretch. I like to use this post to assist me. You can use the wall, you can use a chair, but you're just hinging at the hips. And very carefully stretching out your hamstrings. You don't need to use the wall, you don't need to use a chair. The reason I tell you to is because it just makes it a lot easier to keep your back flat. If your back is rounded in this stretch, you're not gonna hurt yourself. But if you try to keep your back flat as you hinge at the hips, you really feel this stretch in your hamstrings a lot more. It helps to isolate your hamstrings and really kind of make this stretch a lot more intense and a lot more effective. So it's a lot easier to keep your back flat and isolate your hamstrings in this stretch if you use a chair or a stool to assist you, or the wall. But I know that's more than 5 minutes. You don't have to spend extra time in that hamstring stretch if you don't want to, but my legs are always tight, the backs of my legs are always tight, so I always like to spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch just to make sure that my muscles are warm and I'm funky as a chicken and loose as a goose and ready to get these reps done. All right, so now our muscles are nice and warm. We are ready to go ahead and start the workout. I have reset my timer for 1 6-second interval times 20 rounds. We are starting with squats. So we are going to do 20 squats. Each squat is going to take exactly 6 seconds. You're going to do an air squat, and then you're going to hold your warrior 3 pose for the remainder of that 6-second interval, alternating sides with each rep. So do your best. As soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So you're going to squat, and then hold your warrior 3 pose, and then squat, and hold your warrior 3 pose on the other side. Squat, and fly like Supergirl. Other side. Squat, and with the remainder of that 6-second interval, you're gonna hold your warrior 3 pose. Fight for that balance. Remember, it's okay if you're wobbling. Just do your best. Try to embrace the wobble. Only have a few seconds to find that pose every time. So just do your best to get into the pose as quickly as you can. For me, it's harder on this side. And then once you're there, do your best to really make sure that you're activating all of the muscles in that standing leg, and do your best to make sure that you're elongating your spine, thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of you with your fingertips, and trying to extend that back leg behind you and touch the wall behind you with your toes. Nicely done. Squats are halfway done. Now, as quickly as you can, let's move on to lunges. So, I'm going to start my timer now. If you need a longer rest break, pause the video, come back when you're ready. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So you're going to lunge behind you and diagonally across your body. And then you're going to drive that knee up and hold. Staying on the same leg for all 20 reps. And remember to make sure that you're really working this pose. Roots growing out of your feet into the ground. And lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Making sure all of those muscles in your standing leg, from your feet all the way through your leg and your glutes, are super strong and tight and engaged. And remember which leg you're on. I say that because we're not working the other leg until we go through the circuit a second time, so you have to remember which leg you started on so that you make sure you switch legs next time through. Hang in there, I know this is tough. Remember, if you need to sit out a couple of intervals, you can do that. Just keep track of how many intervals you have to miss so that you can make up those intervals or make up those reps. Right, as soon as you can, we're down on the mat for abs. So come down onto your back. I'm gonna sit up and hold boat pose. So I'm gonna lift my heels up off the mat, starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. Arms extended up overhead. Remember to press that low back into the mat and then sit up and hold here in your boat pose. Sit up and hold your boat pose. So we're doing 1 rep every 6 seconds. Do your best. Put your heels down if you need to, rest if you need to. Remember, you're not touching your legs in this position. You're just extending your arms straight out. They're just next to my legs. I'm not touching my legs. Just reaching straight out with those hands. Just trying to have my arms parallel with the bottom half of my legs. All right, that's it. We're halfway done with abs. So now it's time for push-ups. I know this is gonna be tough. It's 20 push-ups in a row with no rest. So if you need to sit out for a few intervals, that's fine. Just make sure you're counting so that you know how many push-ups you missed and you can make them up. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do all 20 without resting, but that's what I'm going to try to do. So just do your best. All right, giving myself a few extra seconds to rest before the push-ups. I don't know if it's so much that I need the rest or if it's because I need to like psych myself out for them. All right. Okay, I'm stalling. All right, so when you're ready, or ready or not, we gotta get these done. So here we go, I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. Push up, lift one arm, lift the opposite leg and hold, alternating sides. So push up, Supergirl, and hold. We're halfway there, keep fighting. Four more. Push. Last one. Get up. I'm fighting so hard to get myself back in shape. I've made huge improvements between day one and now, but I am not there yet. That was so tough. That was so hard for me. I'm really happy that I was able to get through all 20 reps. without having to pause and miss intervals. So if you did have to pause and rest, you have an option. You can pause the video right now and make up whatever reps you missed during round 1, okay? And then when you're ready to start round 2, just come back. Or you can just make a note of how many squats, lunges, how many reps of abs, how many push-ups you owe at this point. Do the same thing for round 2, and then you can just make them up later on in the day, okay? It's totally up to you. All right, so I do want to go ahead and get right into round 2. I want to keep this moving, so I'm going to push myself to continue, even though I could probably use a little bit longer rest. So if you need to rest longer, pause the video, come back when you're ready. I'm going to go ahead and start round 2, so we're just going to repeat the entire thing once more, starting again at the top with squats in 3, 2, 1, and go. So squat, Supergirl, and hold, alternating sides with each rep. Squat, Supergirl on the other side, and hold. All right, right into lunges if you can. Pause and rest if you need to. Make sure you're working the opposite leg from what you did the first time through the circuit. And as soon as you're ready, here we go. Starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So lunge, lift the leg and hold. Right into your next rep. Make sure you're not just hanging out here. Really work that pose. Make sure all of those muscles are activated in your standing leg, all the way from the foot up to your glutes, your core, pressing the heel into the ground, lifting your crown up of your head up towards the ceiling, elongating that spine. Really feel planted in this position, and do your best. My glutes on this side are ready for this to be over. If you're really working this pose, really activating those glutes, you should really, really be feeling this right about now. And we're done. 20 reps of those, all on one side without stopping is tough. So well done. All right, as soon as you're able, let's get into abs. If you're doing standing abs, make sure you're switching sides, working the opposite side from what you did round one. I'm starting my abs in 3, 2, 1, and go. So extend your arms up overhead, press that low back into the mat. Use your ab muscles to lift your torso, reach those arms forward, and hold that boat pose for the remainder of your 6-second interval. And as soon as the timer beeps, you're back down onto the mat, return to your starting position, extend the arms up overhead, and then immediately into your next rep. Press the low back into the mat, sit up, and hold. All right, squats are done, lunges are done, abs are done, push-ups are half done. We just have 2 minutes left. So, the push-ups are the most difficult for me. So I'm going to give myself a few extra seconds to breathe. When I really feel like I have enough strength to do these with good form and hopefully enough stamina to get through all 2 minutes of this exercise without having to stop and rest and miss intervals. The goal is to not have to sit out any intervals. So I was able to do that in round 1. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. But that's what I'm going for. So I'm just giving myself a few extra seconds to rest here. If you're stronger than I am and you don't need the extra rest, then just go, do your push-ups. If you need to rest longer, pause the video and come back when you're ready. I'm not ready, but we gotta get these done. So let's go for it. Just do your best. It's just 2 minutes. Just keep telling yourself it's just 2 minutes, all right? Whatever happens, happens. Just do your best. Your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. If you have to sit out a few intervals, then you just make them up. No big deal. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Push up, Supergirl, and hold right into your next rep. managed to do the whole 2 minutes without stopping. It wasn't pretty towards the end. And I'm pretty sure I messed up which side I was on at one point, but I got all 20 of my push-ups done. I'm really happy about that. So get up. I know that was super tough, and the temptation is to just collapse on your mat. But you want to make yourself get up, okay? We're gonna do a little cool down. It doesn't have to be anything structured. Just pace around a little bit, swing out the arms. If you're feeling your shoulders like I am after those push-ups, you can stretch out your shoulders a little bit. So just bring one arm across your body and use the other arm to pull it in towards your chest. Make sure the arm that's stretching is nice and relaxed. The arm that's bent is the only one working. Make sure your shoulders nice and relaxed. Just letting that stretch happen. Nice and gentle. Let's do the other side. So bring the opposite hand across your body. Use the other arm to pull your straight arm in close to your chest. Relax the shoulders as you stretch. Make sure your straight arm is nice and relaxed. Let's hit the triceps. So bending one elbow, placing your other hand on the elbow, and then just kind of gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Make sure that the hand and the arm that's being stretched is relaxed and pointing down towards the ground. You don't want this hand up here somewhere. Should be pointing right down towards the ground. Shake it out. And do the tricep on the other side. So then the opposite arm. Place your other hand on the elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Make sure the hand and the arm that's being stretched is relaxed and pointing straight down towards the ground. All right, swing out the arms one more time. Let's do a quick quad stretch. So just bring one foot up behind you, reach behind you and grab onto the top of your foot, and then just press your heel into your booty cheek. Feel that stretch in your quad, and make sure as you're doing that you're also pushing your hips forward. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about that curve in your low back again. Your spine curves here. It's natural, it's normal, you want that. But when we're doing this quad stretch, so let's do the other leg, bring the opposite foot up behind you, reach behind you and grab the top of your foot and press your heel into your booty cheek. But while you're doing that, instead of having this small in your back, you want to do just like we did for our ab exercise, tilt your pelvis forward. So put your hand here and then tilt your pelvis this way. So you see you're going from here to here. So you're sucking your belly button back towards your spine, and when you do that, you're going to really feel that stretch intensify in your quads. Really improves the effectiveness of this stretch when you tilt your hips forward like that. So just think of like tucking your belly button, like you're trying to touch your spine with your belly button, and just tilt your hips forward like that. Getting rid of that curve in your low back. And then just shake out the legs, shake out the arms a little bit. It's just really important to keep moving, keep the blood flowing, keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to come back down and while you allow your breathing to normalize. So once you feel that you're cooled down enough, we have one rep left to go. So That's our 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups. But remember that no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just one rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together. If you are a beginner, I will walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. If you don't want to do any more push-ups, you don't have to. I always include a push-up with my bonus burpee, but you can eliminate the push-up. That's absolutely fine. The bonus burpee itself is mandatory, okay? But you can just do your bonus burpee without a push-up if you prefer. But I'm going to show it to you with the push-up. So you're going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and put your hands on the mat in front of you. And then you're going to step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Now, knees down for a push-up if you're including a push-up. If not, you can eliminate it. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So when you're ready, here we go. This is our final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. Nicely done. And now it's really important that you are taking a good 15 or 20 minutes at least to stretch. More is better if you can, but at least 15 or 20 minutes. Right now, immediately after the workout is the best time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm. Warm muscles are more pliable, so your stretching will be more effective, and since your muscles are already warm, this is going to be the most efficient time to get your stretching done. If you don't have time to stretch right now, that's fine. You can stretch later in the day. As long as you get your stretching done at some point during the day, that's all that matters. Just remember that if you do put it off until later in the day, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to need to take a few minutes to warm your muscles back up before you begin stretching. The same way we warm up before the workout. You also don't want to jump into a stretching routine with cold muscles. If your muscles are cold when you start stretching, you're liable to overstretch or strain something or pull a muscle. We don't want that. A major part of the reason we are doing our stretching every day is to help prevent injuries. So the last thing I want is for you to injure yourself while you are stretching. But it's just really important to make sure you're getting your stretching done at some point during the day because number one, stretching is going to help alleviate muscle soreness. So especially if you are a beginner, it's likely that you are experiencing muscle soreness. If you take the time to stretch, it's really going to help alleviate some of that pain. So it's going to make you more comfortable throughout the day. Number two, it is going to reduce your risk of injury moving forward. So the more you are training your muscles to be more flexible and more pliable in general, that means that you're going to increase your range of motion, and it means that your muscles are going to be kind of more durable. You're going to be less likely to pull or strain a muscle during a future workout. And we really want to make sure we are doing everything we can to reduce the risk of injury, first of all, because who wants to be injured? It hurts. But secondly, because a big part of the reason we're doing this challenge is to establish a habit of daily exercise. And if you get hurt, then you're probably going to have to miss a few days so that you can rest and recover, and it's going to make it really that much more difficult to establish that habit of daily exercise if you're not actually doing the workouts every day. So we definitely want to do everything we can to prevent injuries. And the third reason it's really important to make sure you're doing your stretching is just so that you improve your flexibility and your mobility. Being flexible is something that I think is generally overlooked and frankly quite undervalued as it pertains to your overall fitness level. It's really important, especially as we age, to work on flexibility and mobility. And Everyone I know is aging. We're all in the same boat, okay? We're all getting older. So it's never too early to start prioritizing your flexibility and seeing that really as an aspect of your overall fitness, along with your strength and your endurance and your stamina. So it's really important to make sure you're doing your stretching. If you're a beginner and you don't know how to stretch, you don't know how to do a stretching routine, it's super easy to just go on YouTube and search for beginner stretching routine. There's going to be tons of great options. If your muscles are really tight, there's lots of options out there. You can search for a stretching routine specifically geared towards inflexible people. There's going to be tons of great options. I have a stretching routine that I do every day. It's not my stretching routine, but years and years ago, I needed to start stretching. I had been neglecting my stretching. My muscles were so tight. I had lost all flexibility. So I was starting from zero. I went on YouTube and I searched for a stretching routine for inflexible people, and I found one that I loved. It works for me, and I still do it to this day. I do it every single day after every single workout and on Sundays, and it just works for me. It's the only stretching routine I ever do. So if you're curious and you want that specific stretching routine, just ask. I'm happy to share the link with you. But it doesn't matter what stretching routine you choose, just find one that works for you and do it. The important thing is that you're not skipping your stretching. It's really important, okay? So make sure you're stretching. Before I do my stretching, I am going to do an additional 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That is why I am holding Victoria. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with the pretty light pink metallic handles. And if you would like to know where you can get this jump rope, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code RUDBECCA, 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 to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. I'm going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm going to play some music and I'm just going to get my cardio done. 20 minutes and I'm done. Then I will do my stretching, and then I'll go ahead and take a shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. You do not have to add the cardio if you don't want to. I am sharing this because every year when I do the challenge, this is how I do the challenge. After every single workout, I tack on at least 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio. For me, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be jump rope. But sometimes I might go for a jog, or I might hop on the exercise bike for 30 minutes. When I have time, I'll go for a hike. It doesn't matter what the cardio is. It can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. So you can go for a jog or a brisk walk or a hike or a bike ride. Okay, you can jump rope with me. That's great. If you have access to something like an elliptical or a treadmill or an exercise bike or something like that, you can hop on one of those for 30 minutes. If you have access to a heavy bag, you can work on your heavy bag. It can be anything you want. It doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. And the additional cardio is not mandatory. It's not officially part of the challenge. But I'm telling you this because when I do the challenge, this is how I do it. Because I am trying to use this challenge to get myself back in shape. I'm trying to lose weight. I want to improve my stamina, and I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs. So adding on 20 to 30 minutes or more of cardio, moderate paced cardio after every workout really helps to accelerate that process for me. It helps me to start seeing results faster, which encourages me to keep going, and it makes it easier to find the motivation to get up and get dressed and get out here every day and do these reps, because I can see that what I'm doing is working. So it makes me want to continue. It makes me feel motivated to continue. And then of course, the stronger I get and the leaner I get, the easier the workouts become. So that makes it easier to tackle every day as well, knowing that I'm not going to be struggling as much to get through the workouts. So I know we're doing 6 workouts every week. We are working out every Monday through Saturday, and so that means I'm doing 6 cardio sessions every single week, 6 days in a row, and that's a lot. So I'm sharing it because I want to be transparent. I want to be upfront and let you know that I'm doing more than just these 160 reps every day. I am relying on these squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups that we're doing every day for my strength training. That's all I'm doing for strength training. But I am adding cardio to that every single day. So if you do not have time to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or if you are not yet physically capable of doing 6 cardio sessions a week, that's absolutely fine. Again, it's not mandatory. You don't have to do any cardio at all. That's not the challenge. However, I'm just mentioning it because I think that if you can at least find a way to squeeze in 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week, it is really going to help you to start seeing results faster. If you are also using this challenge to try to get yourself in shape, if you're trying to lose weight, if you want to see improvements in your stamina, if you're trying to strengthen your heart and your lungs, doing the additional cardio when you can is going to help accelerate that process for you. You're going to start to see results faster, which is going to encourage you to keep going. It's going to make motivation easier to come by. You're going to start noticing that the workouts are starting to get a little bit easier as your strength improves and as you get as your stamina improves, and that's going to make motivation easier to come by as well, because it's going to be easier to motivate yourself to do something that's not going to be so difficult to get through. So once you start seeing the results, it's just going to kind of snowball, and I just know that you're going to be so much happier with your results at the end of the challenge if you can even just find 2 or 3 days a week to squeeze in a cardio session. It can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want, and it doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. And again, the additional cardio is not required. You don't have to do it. It is not technically part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. But whether or not you are planning on including any additional cardio today, our 161 reps for the day are complete. We have done our 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, 40 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. So that is officially a wrap on day 23. Amazing job. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. I've been getting a lot of new subscribers lately. I don't know why, but it makes me really happy. So if you are one of those new subscribers, thank you very much. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. And you guys, if you have not joined the challenge yet, remember it is not too late to join. It is never too late to join. You can start today with day 23. You can start tomorrow with day 24. You can start on any day of the challenge you want. Remember to just save the playlist, watch the video for day 1, and then decide how the challenge is best going to work for you. You can jump in the middle, that's fine. You can bounce around within the playlist. You can save last year's playlist and bounce around between last year's playlist and this year's playlist. If you want to start on day 1, just remember that you are going to start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, and from there all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. Please remember also that I am right here doing the challenge right along with you. I am working out with you every single day, but I am also here to help. I am here to answer questions. So if you have questions about the challenge itself, what it is exactly, how it works, why we're doing it, who's Brutus, how can you participate? Where do I begin? Just ask, okay? I'm right here to help. If you need help getting motivated to begin the challenge and you would like to give me to give you a gentle nudge, I'm here for that as well. If you just need a little bit of support or encouragement, I am here. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. If you have any doubts about how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, all of that information is in that day 1 video. And if you think you can't do squats, lunges, abs, or push-ups, and then you think that you therefore cannot do this challenge, yes, you can. Please watch that day 1 video. Give me a chance to convince you that you can do squats, you can do lunges, you can do abs, you can do push-ups. Let me show you how you can do this challenge. All right, so if you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing for today's workout, how to do the exercises with the correct form, if you need any further help with beginner modifications, or if you have questions about the format and how everything fits together, if you need help to modify the format to suit your time constraints or your current level of fitness, I am right here to help, so please just ask. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 24. Bye.